This is Business Talk, your business, your success. Sponsored by Take Action Business Coaching. The opinions expressed are those of the participants and may not be the views of the staff, advertisers, and owners of the station. Advice given is not intended to replace that of your business advisor. Now, let's get down to talking about your business, your success. This is Business Talk.
Well, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What a wonderful summer start, huh?
Oh, it's beautiful.
It is.
You're in Central Ohio.
I love it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So Pete and I are business coaches, and we have a firm here locally in Columbus. We serve really the world, and I say that it's mostly North America.
Right.
We have a lot of clients here locally. We are. Our office is right on Lane Avenue, right in the center almost of Columbus, Ohio. So we get to talk to you each week, Saturday, that our coaches are Angie and Michelle and Pete and I, our firm is. And we want to share some ideas and case studies of what we've worked with other executives, other business owners on how to help grow your business.
Right. And if you'd like to talk to us, give us a call at 614-306-7922, and we'll talk to you for a few minutes and see if it would make sense for us to meet.
Right, to schedule time to talk. So, but before we get started on our show, our topic for today is what, Pete?
Well, we're going to continue with this topic of growth. Last week we talked about growth, and we talked about mindset versus skill set, and we spent most of that show talking about mindset.
And if you want to hear that show, what you can do is go to our website, takeactionbusinesscoaching.com, and you'll see archived radio shows on there, and you can listen to that.
And you'll see pictures of us.
There you go. Our team, Michelle, Angie, and Pete and I.
There you go.
So so we did that last week. Are we going to continue on with the mindset, or are we going to get into the skill set?
Well, I think now we'll converge. We'll move into the skill set side.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little more tactical skill set ideas on how to grow your business.
Grow in your business, right. Exactly. Now, Peg and I work with a lot of different types of companies. We do some executive coaching with Fortune 500 firms, and probably 3/4 of what we do is with growing mid-sized companies of all types.
Got it.
Service companies, manufacturing companies, law firms, everything.
Yeah, that is true. Every industry. I always like to challenge. Give us an industry. Yell at your industry and see if we I guarantee you we've coached it. And
sanitation engineers.
Well, we had somebody who said seed company, said, done it.
Done.
Fertilizer.
Yes, you did.
Done it. So, so we've done a lot of industries nonetheless. But, Pete, let's start with what you always do. You've done some research on some good news, right? We like to start with a positive note. Tell us some things that are good in the news.
Okay. So, great. We've got an article here from the Wall Street Journal. It says, German apprenticeships in South Carolina.
Okay,
that's a teaser, huh?
What is that? Yes, now I want to know more. I want to know more.
I saw you leaning forward. That's good.
Tell me.
It says BMW shows how vocational training can work in the United States. And we've actually had a couple of clients attempt to do this, creating apprenticeship programs within their company because they're having trouble going out and finding skilled employees. Well, let's hire someone without the skill but has the right heart and attitude and personal attributes, and let's train them. Now, this takes an investment.
Well, so if you're somebody there saying, I can't find good people, talk about taking ownership and changing that way. Well, we're going to go and train the people we have. So that's good.
Yeah, and this says German car maker BMW has, they've been working with people to train them, and the plant produces 1,400, this is in South Carolina, the plant produces 1,400 cars a day and says send 70%, this is good news too, 70% of these cars are sent overseas. So they're not driven in the U.S.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Exporting 70% of these vehicles, and that's a lot, 1,400 cars a day.
That is a lot.
They employ 9,000 people, and they train 100 apprentices. At any one point in time, there's about 100 apprentices in that company.
So here's one thing just to think about is so often us with children, and of course I have Allie and Lauren who are 13 and 16, and you have... Well, your 3 are already through college.
Yeah, mine are almost off the payroll. Yay!
Yes, they are. So one of the things is to consider college might not be for everyone. Yet apprentice programs, vocational, we need skilled labor in that way.
Right, and it's not necessarily low-paying jobs. They're I don't have the article here, but there are welding positions that are paying $100,000 a year.
Right. So
you've got to be good with your hands.
That. Consider that. Okay, so another piece of good news. You have a lot there.
Labor. Cow. These are related. Labor shortages. Shortage of labor puts squeeze on builders. Now, we've experienced this ourselves.
We do coach
Construction
a lot of builders.
labor costs are rising an annual average of 4 to 5% a year. Now, the rate of inflation is just a bit over 2%, so it's about double. And it is actually slowing down some construction work in the country because we're having trouble. So it's good news, bad news.
Right.
It's good news that the labor market is getting better, right? But we are seeing this firsthand that we're having trouble finding great people. So this is kind of a funny one. Labor shortage hits mushroom country.
Okay, tell me about that. What's that?
After peaking in 2014, mushroom production in Chester County, Pennsylvania, has declined in recent years. And it's got a little graph here of mushroom production was above $430 million, and now it's down to $395.
Now, Pete, we don't every day hear about mushroom production.
That's why
you listen to Peg and Pete on Business Talk. I mean, are other shows, are other stations talking about the mushroom production? I think not.
And they're calling it a fungal fall-off, right?
Okay, that's some good news. Funny? We have one more piece of good news.
Yeah, one more piece of good news now. Agriculture. Now, this is a cool picture. You can't see this, but think of going into a warehouse with racks going all the way up to the ceiling, and this is a factory where they're growing vegetables in the middle of the city.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
And this is in the United States. They are growing vegetables right in, it looks like it's out of a spaceship,
It does look like it. So it's like trays. Flats. It's flats of, where you could see flowers.
Like hydroponic type things, but there are companies in the U.S. that are doing what they call them vertical farms. High-tech vertical farms are sprouting out in warehouses, and there are companies in the U.S. that are in Australia. It says the world population is expected to reach 9.7 billion by 2050.
Yes.
And there's a lot of mouths to feed, and urban farming is more predictable.
We coached for a while, a seed company.
Right.
And we absolutely did. I went to some seminars that it is scary of how much food, we need to produce. That we will need. So that's good to hear.
Yeah, and we're all hungry.
Yes, I like that. Well, thank you for the good news, Pete. So today, again, as business coaches, we run into a lot of opportunities to watch and help businesses grow. And to really, when you bring us on into your team, you're either you've grown a lot and coaching will help you, manage that growth.
Right.
Making sure your team and your culture is thriving.
And make sure you're not working too hard yourself.
Exactly.
We want you to have a personal life, too.
Good one, Pete. And then if you're growing, but you want to grow more, what we're covering is a lot about there's mindset and then there's skill sets. So we're going to go through some skill sets, some ideas on how you can help grow your business, double digits.
Yeah,
that's
more
what we want.
Tactical things.
Or triple digits. What am I saying? And it depends on what you want. Exactly.
Yes.
Of course, we got to do growth for profit, not just to grow. So what would be one of the first strategies, Pete, as far as looking tactically or skill set wise?
One of the big things that we see with folks is we ask them a lot of questions. That's what the basis of coaching as the real start. One of the foundational things is getting good at asking questions.
Right.
And a lot of things we ask salespeople and business owners is, where are you spending your time?
Okay.
So tell me about last week. Where did your time go last week? Give me the top 10. Rattle off the top 10 things. Mm-hmm. And if that's a typical week, that could be a snapshot of what you've done for the last few months.
It's funny you just said that. So one of the things we get to do and is we do what's called a live coaching event. So we'll go into a place and we take topics and we say, here's a 3x5 card and write down your biggest challenges. And we're going to talk about it. And we're going to coach you right on the spot.
Sure.
So we just did this last week. And Pete, you weren't there. I was with Angie.
Right.
And do you know that out of all of the topics, the number one was time management?
Is that right?
It was time management, which I was surprised because usually it's like
sometimes it's employees.
It's employees. It's usually I was ready to talk about employees, keeping them, hiring them, engaging them. But this was about time management, and we had them do exactly what you said. Okay.
So they're struggling with where their time is spent. And one of the ideas we want to give to you is that in order to grow your business, there's a couple things you need to be spending as much time as you can on. Is this activity keeping customers or getting customers?
So what I'm hearing you say is, let's say you write down this task list you said of 10 different items that you did from the previous week. Then you ask yourself the question, did this task help me get customers or keep a customer?
Right.
So evaluating your time based on that tool.
Yeah, so you wrote all these things down. Let's say for the last 2 weeks you did a little time study, you kept track of it all, and you've got 10 or 12 things that take up 80, 90% of your time.
Right.
And a lot of you business owners, you may go through bursts where there's a very different than a previous week, but in the long run, you tend to spend your time in the same places over and over again.
Right.
And if you went through that list of a dozen items and looked at them versus, is this something that helps me get customers or keep customers? And if the answer is no on a lot of those things, let's say 80% of your time is not spent on those two things, we may need to do a little bit of a shift.
Okay. I got that.
Makes
so
sense?
Creating focus. So in order to grow, one thing tactically we want to do is look at your time, and this could be of yourself or your team, and then asking the question, customer keeping or customer getting? Keeping customers and then making adjustments along the way.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Right. And if you're a salesperson, this applies to you as well. And if you're spending time servicing, let's say, or with your hands on tools, that's not getting a customer, right?
Right.
To learn more about today's topic, call 614-306-7922. Now, back to more Business Talk.
And good afternoon. Pete and I are here today. We have a firm locally here in Columbus, and we're just talking about strategies that we work with other clients. The clients we have are we do have some corporate clients. We have small businesses, and we have managers, directors. It all depends.
Different types of companies,
Different types of companies. And we're going through a skill set today, how to grow your business to double, triple digits, depending on your goal of what does it take. And so before the break, we were talking a little bit about time and how looking at your time and where you're spending that time is going to be critical. And you have to evaluate this. When you're evaluating it, look at it. Am I keeping customers with this activity, or am I getting customers? So evaluating your time based on that, and then making adjustments along the way. And again, we said this for salespeople, for anyone, have your team do this.
Oh, right. If you have a team of 10 salespeople, and some of them may be doing great, and some may be struggling a bit, it'd be great for them to know where their week is being spent.
And then Pete and I were talking at the break right beforehand. For salespeople, an exercise to do is I say salespeople, it should be anybody. Why am I saying sales? Anybody should evaluate, what is my time worth on an hourly basis?
Right.
So looking at my time and then evaluating your task list or your time based on, is the value of that task really worth that amount of time that my time is worth?
Right. If the owner of the business is out mowing the lawn, right, during the middle of the workday,
should we maybe
is
hire
that a good
out?
idea?
Yeah.
Maybe we should have somebody do that for you.
Now, the only reason that we would want you, if you're an owner, to do things that aren't necessarily high value is if you absolutely love it. So we had one business owner. We had several business owners who loved working in the yard. It was like a meditation. And we said, well, then do that.
Yep.
Do that
Andy,
as a choice.
You're allowed to water the flowers.
Andy,
Peg gave you that.
You are allowed to, and Ellie is allowed to do her flower beds. And that's okay. But we're doing it purposely.
It's a choice.
And Dawn liked mowing the lawn. I think it was mowing the lawn or doing the flowers.
But if that's relaxing to you and it allows you to go back to work refreshed and energized, that's fine.
That's fine. But what we're talking about is being cognizant of where you're spending your time and your team based on your growth. So that's one strategy and skill set we definitely wanted to go through. Another one is what we call profitability formula. We call it the 5 ways.
So if you're at home, you can take a piece of paper out for this, right?
Right. Yeah. And I'll spell it out.
Perfect.
For everyone. How's that? So there's 5 ways that when we go into businesses that we really drive profit. So a lot of times, a lot of people might know their revenue, right? What they are monthly or annually, how much they're producing. And a lot of times, how much you're taking home.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is we want to take that and we want to divide it up a bit. So Pete, I'll go through it. So
Great.
the first thing we want you to do is look at the leads you have. And the leads would be defined as, there's a lot of people who have, or a lot of, organizations that have several steps they have right before they get a sale.
Yeah, there's quite a few of ours that do quotations or requests for quote. Mm-hmm. They prepare estimates.
Right.
Before a sale, or they do a demonstration.
So you might want to have a couple in there. So it might be, okay, how many cold calls am I going to have to a conversation? How many conversations will I have to a sit down? How many sit down? I'll have a proposal, and then from a proposal to a sale. For this sake, we'll do leads times conversion rate. We're going to take that last just for this. How many presentations or touches are you doing?
But we do suggest that you measure. If you have multiple steps, measure those steps. Measure the activity in those steps.
And that's the most important thing. So for our sake, we're going to say leads. That's going to be your number one in your 5 ways. That's one way. And then we'll go back and circle back. I'll go ahead and write down the whole formula here, the profitability formula. So first it's leads times conversion rate. Right. And then that will equal your customers or your clients. And the conversion rate is a % of what you're converting from lead to customer. So then once you have customers, you want to multiply that times your average dollar sale.
So in other words, if they're buying from you once a year, what does it cost? Or they're buying from you 10 times a year, what does it cost?
On average.
Okay.
And then you times that times the amount of transactions. So how many times are your customers that we've just written down buying from you at that average rate? It might be a 1 time, a 2 time, a 3 time. It could even be more. It depends on your industry. Then once you have that transaction, you have an outcome, which is revenue. So far, what we've done is we've told you 4 of the 5 ways. 1 is leads. You can change the leads. 2 is conversion rate.
Right.
The third is, and that gave you an outcome of clients. Then the third way is that you can build your profitability is through increasing average dollar sale.
Right. How much they buy.
Right. And the fourth is transactions. How often they're going to buy. Great. That gives you your outcome of revenue.
Okay.
And then for this sake, what we've done is we've taken gross margin and net, and we've taken your net and your gross, put it in as just margin. And that would be overall margin, which is your 5th way to affect your outcome of profit.
Great.
So you've created a profitability formula. And like Pete said, you got to measure it. So your first piece of homework is to take that profitability formula. And for those of you who are listening, say, I'm driving, Peg, I didn't get it. Go ahead and shoot us an email. You can get us through our website, takeactionbusinesscoaching.com, or you can call Pete. And we have this all written down on a formula because all of our clients, they know their numbers.
They measure their numbers.
They measure their numbers. And you can give Pete a call at
614-306-7922. Okay,
so now, Pete, we've laid out all the 5 ways. And that's the most important part is to measure first.
So let's go back up a step now. And if you get online, you can see this formula, or we'll email it to you if you like. We'd like you to measure this for if you have multiple product lines or multiple divisions, or if you have multiple salespeople. Each salesperson should have these numbers for themselves.
Yes, absolutely. And we get that a lot. They go, I can't do an average. I have, one that's 1,000. They're very different. Well, if they're that different, they're almost like 2 different businesses, then do separate a different 5 ways.
Yeah, and in some businesses, this is a good example, is you have a service department, right? And you have a capital equipment department.
Correct.
Well, let's measure those separately.
Right.
They should have separate goals.
Which we can. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Right. So first it's creating the 5 ways, communicating it. And, when we see people and profit really grow, it's when we share these numbers, these goals, or we share it with the team.
Sometimes just measuring, just going out and getting this information is a huge eye-opener for people.
Well, so Pete, why don't we go through? Do you want to go through each one, go circle back and
go
talk? Okay,
absolutely.
So let's go back up to the top where we started with the leads.
Leads.
Okay.
How do we generate or find people that are interested in our product or service?
Perfect. And we want, just for sake of an example, even though we're starting with this at 1, we actually don't want you to start it. We want you to probably end with the leads. We start with other things like profitability, margin, or average dollar sale, or conversion rate, depending on your business.
And there's a reason for that, Peg.
Because leads actually are 10 times more difficult. They're going to cost you 10 times more. And it's going to be more expensive than anything.
So, for example, if we measure your this whole process for you, if we get your numbers and we take a look and go, well, your conversion rate is only 25%. Well, in a lot of cases, the things, the techniques, the process that we use to improve conversion rate is a little bit of time. Maybe changing some wording, changing the format that you use to prepare your estimates, and help you to tweak something without spending a lot of money.
That is perfect. Exactly. So even though we started with leads, but leads could be first, how are you getting your leads now? So we create a marketing plan for you and making sure that however you're getting your leads up now, if you are tracking it, if you're not tracking it, you need to track it.
You want to identify the source, right?
Right. And then we turn up the volume on what's working for you already. That is one strategy that works out well. Right. Oh, your referrals is your top lead source. Well, are you doing referrals purposeful?
In other words, are you asking for them, or do they just happen a couple times a year?
Do you have a system?
And 90% of the time, they just happen.
They just happen. I'm just getting calls.
Right. So what if you actually asked your previous customers or clients?
And ask for an in-person meeting. And what if we had a system for referrals? Think of how many more referrals we'd get. It would have a marketing strategy working for us. So when you're looking at your leads, there's lots you could be doing. Mm-hmm. The best way to start is what is working for you now.
Right.
Write them all down. See if we need to systemize or turn up the volume. And here's a hint for leads. Either a mistake a lot of people do in marketing is they stop doing what worked for them because they get bored with it.
Or you get comfortable.
Yes, they get comfortable or they get bored. I don't want to do it anymore. Number two is I start doing something, but I don't see results because I'm not doing enough volume. Mm-hmm. So I'm not doing enough of it, whether it's cold calling or advertising, whatever it is.
Oh, you quit before you have the result.
Well, and then the third one is I quit before I have the result, is I'm doing the volume, but I get impatient and I quit before I get the results. So
and some of you have long sales cycles.
So really with leads, those are just some ideas that we would like you to do to increase your leads as a strategy. And so that would be that's just one of the 5 ways.
And we probably have 65 to 70 different items that we can improve on in generating lead generation.
Absolutely, we can. And every company is different. So we want to make sure that we are addressing what's needed for you. I mean, what fits for you. But to Pete's point, if we go down to our second of the 5 ways, which was conversion rate.
Conversion rate.
Conversion rate's really going to be where you start before you start with the leads. But what is it that you're saying? Do you have a script? What are you offering? How are you offering it? Are you making it easy to buy? Is it easy for somebody to buy? Are you offering a guarantee to make it not so scary? Are you creating a beta test for them?
Right.
Are you doing a
demonstration?
Have
they seen your video of how your equipment operates or your process works?
One thing with conversion rate, we see it with a lot of companies, is first of all, if it's too high. So if it's too high in the 80s or 90s, it means you probably aren't charging enough. So increase your rate, by the way.
That's a fun result.
That's
right?
a fun result. The other thing is with conversion rate is understanding that, you know what, training really helps. People skills, it really helps to increase conversion rate. Making it easy for people to buy increases.
And evaluating your process. A lot of times, small changes to your sales process can make huge impacts. And in order to do that, we may have to document your current sales process.
I really liked what you just said, Pete. That's where I was going to go. I'm so glad you brought that up because I was going to forget. So often, if you want to have a date with someone, would you ever go up to somebody you've never talked with before and say, hey, let's go out to dinner. I want an hour of your time.
You know, it hardly ever works for me.
It won't, because we've asked too much too soon. So often in our sales process, we're asking too much too soon. So what if we said, hey, why don't we talk on the phone for 10 minutes and see if it makes sense to talk further? So I'm going to be I'm going to make it more convenient, and I'm asking less for you.
A little safer.
Yeah, a little safer. So when you're looking at conversion rate, we want it to go up by doing little steps. So when we return, we're going to finish up with our 5 ways to profitability and strategies you can use to get there.
Could your business use some help? Call 614-306-7922 to schedule your coaching session. 614-306-7922. Now, here's more business talk.
Well, welcome back. Pete and I are having a ball this afternoon.
Yes,
you know
ma'am.
what? Pete and I get to talk, don't we? We are so lucky. We get to work with wonderful growing businesses everywhere around the world. Locally here in Columbus, many right here. And it's just a pleasure. And we're so lucky. So today what we're doing, Pete and I are sharing with you strategies on how we really grow businesses. And specifically, and this is for any business owner, it's for any department manager, and I'd say any salesperson, is looking at the 5 metrics that really drive profitability.
And quickly, it's if you're writing this down, it's a number of leads times your conversion rate into paying customers times the average dollar sale, or the amount that they purchase each time, the dollar value, times how many times per year or per any given time period. You multiply that, it equals your annual sales. And then we simplified it and just said, well, an overall profitability for the company, a percentage, and that will equal your net profit.
So what we did is we, before the break, so if you just joined us before the break, we went through ideas and strategies that we've worked with other clients on increasing their leads, also how to increase their conversion rate.
And the last thing we talked about was, and this is a suggestion for those of you that haven't done in the past, is evaluate what your real sales process, the actual sales process is. What is it, step by step? And
measure those steps. And if you want to hear our show, go to takeactionbusinesscoaching.com. We have all our archived radio shows there, takeactionbusinesscoaching.com, and you can hear any of our previous shows. Right. With our firm. We have Angie and Michelle also in our firm, and we are looking for other coaches. If you're interested in talking to us about being a coach for our firm, give us a call at 614-306-7922.
That's it.
Okay, so Pete, what's the next one? We've done leads and conversion rate.
Yeah, so if you multiply your leads, gives you your customers, right? Leads times conversion equals customers. And again, if you have multiple steps leading to that, you would go backwards up there to get that information. Then the next thing would be, if our customers purchased more each time they came in, how could we make that happen?
So that would be the number of transactions.
Average dollar sale.
Oh, I'm sorry, average dollar sale. That would be, so the biggest thing, and this Pete said this earlier, actually before the break, is you may want to segment your business. If you're like, for example, a service, you do installations and service, have separate 5 ways for each one. Right. But the average dollar sale is, I know a lot of times you go, but they're all over, Peg and Pete, it's $10 and it's $100. Well, then what's the average?
If they're wildly different services, then we would separate them. But if not, just average them, and you will be able to track your progress as we grow.
So some strategies that we've used to help increase average dollar sale that have really worked well. One, and it's the simplest, is increase your prices.
Oh, man, that's easy. You could do that today.
Yes, and especially if you look at your conversion rate and it's pretty high, that's telling you it's time. Yep. A lot of times, as we're selling, especially if you're a salesperson, it's easier to sell something cheaper. What we want you to do is challenge yourself, increase your price, and it'll increase your average dollar sale.
Another one, and this is very easy, it doesn't cost you any money, is to think about your customer base. Does your customer base know, your repeat customers, do they currently know all of the things that you are capable of doing now?
That is a great one.
We've got a manufacturing client that is doing some higher level things with their machines that they're building that they weren't doing in the last several years, and they've just recently got capabilities to add these capabilities to their machines, and a lot of their clients don't know that they're capable of doing this. They might hire another company to integrate these machines into their factory, whereas this machine manufacturer could do it themselves.
It's amazing how often that you know all the services, but a client comes in and just purchases one part, but they don't really understand the breadth of what you offer. So creating a systematic way to not only share that on the first time, but even circling back to your current clients and saying, hey, did you know we have this, this, and this?
Right.
And so it's a whole new systematic way of...
And have you taken videos of those things and put them on your website?
There you go.
I'm just talking about this particular client has not done that yet.
That's good. So increasing your average dollar sale, we've given you several strategies. One would be increasing prices.
Yep.
The second would be additional services.
Right.
Yep. The third, what would be a good third one, Pete, that we've done for other? Oh, I know one. One would be, have we educated our salespeople? Let's say you're in a retail store. Have you done the whole McDonald's thing of, do you want fries with that?
Oh, asking them. Yeah.
Asking them add-ons that would match with what they're doing. We did this with one company that we did a little contest over a month, had a lot of fun with it. And every time somebody got that add-on, they got to put a star up on their chart. And it was all,
it's competition, right?
Yeah, and it was
People
all
like
self-monitored.
competitions.
It was on your honor,
Yeah.
And then we gave gift cards to all of those that got the extras.
Okay.
And I really respect when I'm in places and I see that happening. Hey, have you ever thought of this with that and partnering up with other services at the time, add-on?
Gotcha.
That's as simple that you could do that tomorrow. Get with your team, ask them if there was something you would add on, what would it be? Have them write up the script, have everybody do it, increase the, put the average dollar sale goal up there, have a chart and celebrate. And when we get there, we're going to all have pizza. I mean, it doesn't have to be complicated. So those are just a few strategies to help on your third of the 5 ways of growing your business. Now, this again is the 5 ways to profitability. And so far we've covered leads, conversion rate, and average dollar sale.
Average dollar sale, that's 3.
So we're going to go into the 4th way. So there's 5 ways of what we say is that you can concentrate on 5 different areas to help increase your profitability. What would be the 4th way, Pete?
So the next one is increasing the number of times, the number of transactions.
Okay.
So the number of times this customer buys from you in a given time period. Now, a year is easy, so let's think about a year.
Okay, let's
How can I get them to buy a little more often?
And a lot of people will say, "Oh, I track my transactions." What we see is you're doing total transactions. What this is referencing is how many times that one customer is buying from you.
Yeah.
So it's not total transactions; it's by customer. And but so
your accounting software, you generally can get these numbers out of it if you keep track of them.
If you keep track of them. And I got to tell you, the transactions sometimes, I always find it the most difficult, actually, out of all of them. I've never taught to really have people move the needle on this.
Right. And they don't. If you think about it, it could be a matter of, well, this one company buys this from us, and they don't buy the other thing.
Right.
How do we make them aware that they could buy that from us, or that, hey, you know what, we do service the equipment we sell. We don't just sell it. We actually will come in and maintain it for you if you like.
So we can do it again and again and again.
And do preventive maintenance possibly.
And even like, let's say you're at a 2.2 for transactions per year. Getting it to a 2.4 is wonderful.
Right.
So it doesn't have to move that much. And having your team figure out, don't you think, Pete, like having your team come together and coming up with the strategies for each one of these 5 ways, it really becomes empowering and it gives you buy-in.
Well, and again, for these 5 things, we have over 350 specific things you could do. But as Peg said, getting your team in a room and having them look at all those opportunities, right? And picking the critical few that they want to actually try, because they have to want to try it.
So if you want a list of all of these strategies, we can email them to you. We have this all in writing. This is what we do with our clients to really drive profit, to help them. When you bring us into your company, it's not costing you anything. You're going to make more.
Grow.
You're going to grow, and you're going to make more money than any fee that we would ever have. So give Pete a call at 614-306-7922 if you want a chart of this 5 ways. It's really exciting to go through. And so some other strategies for transactions, if you think about it, is all you're wanting to do is have them come back and buy again.
Well, here's a simple one. When was the last time you called them?
Oh, that's a great one. Sometimes it's not that difficult.
It's almost free, right?
Yes, give them a call. Or how about this? This is interesting. I've been noticing that with hair appointments sometimes, or I don't know if doctors as much, chiropractors, they always have you go through and come back. Like, hey, let me schedule time to come back. But like dentist's office, if I miss my 6 month, I'm not being reminded by a call.
Oh, they don't call you.
They're not calling me. And so I'm like.
Now mine does. They actually text me.
Oh, do you see? Yeah. Texting would be a brilliant thing.
It actually works pretty well.
Or, your doctor, if you're just those kind of calls are, you know what? It's customer service is what it is. Because I'm like, oh my gosh, have I done this? So asking people to come back is great, or having a systematic way before they leave to schedule another time.
Well, that's a funny one, because my barber, Larry, I need a haircut.
Yes.
And I should ask him, you know what, why don't you just ask me before I leave, when do you want to come back? I'd put in my phone, I'd be fine. Now I wait till I get a little shaggy and then I go.
And that is just a wonderful customer service / transaction increasing the number of people that come back.
Yeah.
But there's so many different transactions that we could talk about.
Different ways to do that.
Different ways, exactly. Thank you, to do that. So when we return, we're going to finish up this 5 ways to profitability to drive profit. We're going to go through ideas on margin.
Right.
And then and then wrap up the show with strategies and ideas of how other businesses have really grown through us coaching them. So we're looking forward to our last segment.
To learn more about today's topic, call 614-306-7922. Now, back to more business talk.
Well, we have had Pete and I, this is Pete and Peg, and we have had such a great afternoon with you guys today. Thank you for listening. It's been really enjoyable, hasn't it, Pete?
Oh, absolutely. And if you'd like to talk to us, give us a call, 614-306-7922.
Yes, for sure. So let me recap. So first of all, we have really talked about, in the previous week's show, we talked a little bit about how do you grow a business? When we walk into a business, how do we grow? We divided it into two things. We said there's mindset and then there's skill set. Now, if you want to listen to the mindset part of the show, go to takeactionbusinesscoaching.com and you'll see our show there. It'll say grow.
All the past shows.
It'll be grow mindset, where Pete and I are talking about that. Now, this show, what we talked about is growing with skill set. And just to recap a little bit, Pete, we started off with time management, right?
We did, yeah. Where are you, if you're a salesperson or the owner of the business or the general manager, where's your time being spent? And it is on things that are related to keeping customers or getting customers, or is it on other stuff?
I love it. I love it. So that was one idea of what we did. We did the time management. And then knowing that, if we had one show to really talk about how to really increase your profitability, it would be based on the strategy called our 5 ways.
Right.
And our 5 ways are what, Pete?
Well, if you have a piece of paper, you could write this down, or if you give us a call, we'll send you this form.
Yeah, and we send this form plus, I'm going to jump in here, plus the strategies. I mean, it's over 300 different strategies we use to increase profitability. So you'll get that as well.
Right.
So if you want to,
and these are actually right out of a book called Instant Cash Flow.
That's true. Right. By Brad Sugars. Right. By Brad Sugars. Absolutely.
You could get that at Barnes & Noble or Amazon, either one.
So
number of leads. So how many leads are you generating? This is over a given time period, say a year. Now, how many leads times the conversion rate equals the number of clients or customers that you have. We multiply that by the average dollar sale, or the amount they're purchasing each time they purchase, times the number of transactions in that same time period. And that will equal your total dollar sales for your whole business. And we multiply that to simplify this. We just go in overall profitability. So sales dollars times profit percentage equals your net profit for the year.
And so that's what we call our profitability formula. So the one thing that we haven't gone through is our 5th way. So earlier we did leads, conversion rate, average dollar sale, and transactions, those 4. The 5th way to really drive profit would be your margins. And we want to share some ideas that we've done for other companies that really work.
So one is that we've done recently is just raise your prices.
Right. Absolutely. So often when we ask that, you get scared. But generally, it's because of it's not based on anything.
It's a mindset thing.
Yes, you're getting in your own way.
Right.
And now, when you want to increase your prices, we say, obviously you want to shop around. You want to stay competitive. Yes, do your research, stay competitive. But one company, Pete, that we work with, a couple actually that Pete and I work with, we use a key performance indicator, meaning a measurement that we look at on a monthly basis of how many discounts are you giving.
Oh, boy, yeah.
So when we first walked in there, for sake of, it was, they were at 15% discount. And then we asked them, what should it be? And it should be 10. And I said, I'm going to challenge you to be 6. Within 3 months, they're down to 5% discounts.
So the percentage of sales that got a discount. Okay.
Total discounts based on sales. We're down to 5%. Eventually, we're going to get to 3.
That's a big impact.
And that is going right to your bottom line. That is money out of your pocket. Right. So stop discounting. Stop it right now.
That's an order.
That's an order. Stop discounting. I'm telling you, it's in your head, not theirs.
Now, if you get the urge to discount, we want you to call 614-306-7922. We'll talk you out of it.
Well, that's called the hotline. That's the Peg and Pete hotline, because it's so, you know what? If you're discounting, it means that maybe we have to, A, work on your mindset, B, work on your skill set. How are you selling? Or maybe it's your product. How are we packaging?
Yeah.
How are we packaging? Can we create a packaging unit to increase your sales?
Right.
And so definitely looking at that. So for margin, we said increase pricing, right?
Yep. That's
Stop
an easy
discounting.
One. Yep.
Here's one that I think a lot of people do, but we should probably say it is look through your fixed expenses.
Oh, yeah. Do a little shopping once in a while. Number one, as Peg mentioned, is making sure that you look and see where all that money's going and evaluate it.
Right. First, look at that. Then look at and I liked what you just said, Pete. Have I shopped for cost? Because a lot of times we get comfortable and we get busy and we know we should be doing that and we haven't. And I'm saying that your vendors should be treated as partners and we need to continue to shop them. Keep them honest and make sure that we are doing what we need to do in a way that serves us well.
Make sure you're getting the right value.
Now, that's just a few of the ideas to increase profitability. I mean, I think that's probably enough for now, correct?
And generally with clients, we teach them the process. We have them measure their own results, maybe for the last 6 months or even the previous year and the first 6 months of this year or 5 months. And so we've got the measurements in front of us. Then we look for opportunities. Mm-hmm. So in some of these areas where these conversion rates are lower than you'd like, we take a look at those and figure out, well, what can we do to increase this?
And when we first started out with how to increase your profitability by the 5 ways, what Pete said is the first thing is you want to measure. Just make sure you're measuring it and writing it down. Start with that. And, Pete, one thing that if we look at all of these, and it's usually the last thing is the leads, I love this, the referrals. So often when we're working with businesses, the number one strategy for growth with leads is referral based.
Yes.
So I wanted to give some tips.
Yeah, and Peg, one of our concepts that we repetitively talk to our business owners about is we want to be active versus passive.
Right.
And what you're about to talk about, I think, is a more active strategy versus, hey, I get a referral 3 or 4 times a year. Great.
I like that. You're right. I want you to be purposeful.
Yes.
I like that. We're going to be purposeful and we're going to make sure to be able to trace our steps. So here's some really great tips on how to get more client referrals that we coach our clients on.
Okay.
So first of all, you want to create a plan with metrics, meaning that how many referrals are we going to get?
Here's that measuring thing again.
There's that measuring. What gets measured gets done.
Yeah.
So if you have a sales team, have each salesperson say, how many referrals are you going to give a quarter or a month, and how many are you going to get? We must first give before we receive. And it's directly related that the more you give, the more you receive. So making sure you're doing both.
Okay.
Then in fact, Pete, we were working with Mark on this, and I said, how many leads have you given to that accounting firm? And he said, quite a few. And I go, do you think it's time to knock on their door and say, it's time for, reciprocation?
Uh-huh.
And it was. So
excellent.
Often are we, so first give and then receive, and then make your list of all that you've given to, right? And then say, okay, what is my strategy to say, okay, it's time. It's time for reciprocation.
To actually go and ask.
Right. And this is Peg and Pete with Business Talk. Today, we have been talking about how to grow your business, whether you're a salesperson, a department head, or a business owner. We've used a couple strategies called the 5 ways, and we're diving into, we went through each 5 way that are strategies to help increase your profitability.
Right.
But now we're really working with the leads.
Right.
And so we just circled back because I knew I wanted to dive into that client referrals more. Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So first we said create a plan or a metrics to really figure out how we're going to do it and where we're going to go. Okay. Now, the how. What we want you to do is you go to your clients and be very specific on when you're asking for a referral. So first you go to your advocates, whoever they are, and then you're going to ask specifically for the referral. So here's an example, Pete. Pete and I are here. I'll say, Sam, Pete and I are growing our business.
Okay.
And you know what? We're looking to grow, and we're looking for businesses that are family run. Do you know any family run businesses that are growing?
Actually, I do. Here's a couple now.
Okay. We also, we specialize in working with doctors and attorneys and professional services. Do you know specifically some maybe architectural firms?
Of course.
Or you could say, so notice how specific I'm getting with what I'm asking.
Right.
when you ask for referrals so often, we just say, hey, do you know anybody that... No. The other way is they're not going to know. So another way is, Pete, I'm looking for somebody just like you, somebody who is interested in learning and growing and wants to get to the next level.
I liked what you said there, because a lot of us have a variety of different clients. Let's say you have 100 clients in your business, and you want to pick the top ones to ask for referrals of, because you want more of people like them.
Exactly. And describing characteristics is another way to really understand and help people figure out.
So it could be someone who's rapidly growing, someone who's open to new ideas, whatever it happens to be.
Absolutely.
To be clear.
To be clear on that. And then once they come up with the list, I want an in-person introduction.
Okay.
If possible.
Or by email?
Email would be secondary. Absolutely. Okay. In-person is going to be stronger.
Could
and
be a cup
of
coffee or lunch or something like that, right?
It's going to be stronger, but I also get that might not be possible.
Yeah, time.
So if it's not, let's go to the email.
Okay.
Let's do an email introduction or a phone call, even better yet.
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
Sally, I've got Pete here right now. I've been using Pete for a while, and I really think it'd be great for you to talk. Can I introduce you right now? So that in-person or warm connection will increase your rate of conversion rate for your referral, which is your lead. So what we want you to do is that's a systematic way that we actually take our clients and their sales team through to make sure that we're getting the most out of our leads of our 5 ways. So at the end, the very last thing is make sure you write thank you notes. Make sure that whoever gave you the lead, that you keep them in the loop.
Some appreciation there, right?
Yes, of whatever happened with that lead. Hey, this happened with Sally when you connected me. So making sure that you tell your lead source along the way what's been happening and what's going on.
Positive reinforcement, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we've had a great time talking about growing your business in a profitable way, driving it through 5 different ways to making sure that you get where you want. Now, for you that are listening, make sure that you give us a call for these opportunities, these spreadsheets. It's call Pete at 614-306-7922, and we'll email them out to you. Perfect. And then again, always you can go back to our website for this show and other past shows, or contact us at takeactionbusinesscoaching.com. That's takeactionbusinesscoaching.com. Thanks for listening.
This has been Business Talk, your business, your success, sponsored by Take Action Business Coaching. The opinions expressed were those of the participants and may not be the views of the staff, advertisers, and owners of the station. Advice given was not intended to replace that of your business advisor. For more information about the topics discussed today, call 614-306-7922. 614-306-7922. Tune in next week at this time for more Business Talk, your business, your success.